Hello. So you probably found my second channel called One Frank, and you're wondering what I'm posting here. Well, you see, my main channel, Zero Frank, is mostly going to focus on boring regular content. Usually my videos on Rainbow Six and Valorant. Well, this second channel is gonna focus more on gaming as a whole, or in general, anything I really want to talk about. So this series is called Frank Rants, really. It's where I get to talk about whatever I want and put some gameplay in the background. Sort of a commentary style video. But anyway, we're going to be talking about skill trees. So, me as someone who enjoys single player games for the story and whatnot, well, let's just say Mirror's Edge Catalyst when it comes to the graphics, the environment, it does it very well. The one thing that Mirror's Edge Catalyst fails to master is its story. And one way of looking at that story, the issue, of course, is obviously the plot. It's just garbage. But also the skill tree. Now you see, games that do skill trees have a certain mastery to them. Skill trees link to the story, and because Mirror's Edge Catalyst has a shit story, well, I didn't even know that a skill tree existed until about halfway through the game, when I started to realize that enemies were becoming harder to defeat. So I pressed escape and realized there was a skill tree menu, and I could acquire new skills to, well, defeat harder enemies, such as, well, the Guardian is by far the most easiest enemy to defeat, but then you get up to Sentinels and ranged units and drones and whatnot. You only learn that you can acquire more abilities. Majority of the time the game would just open for the sake of the story, the skill tree, to show you that you can have an EMP glove, and that would allow you to get through industrial fans to traverse the terrain of the game. And that was about it. It didn't show anything else. And it's quite frustrating that as someone that enjoyed the first Mirror's Edge, I did enjoy the second Mirror's Edge. I mean, the first Mirror's Edge is basically a perfect game. Second Mirror's Edge is a good game. And when I say good, it has some flaws compared to the first one. And I'd argue that it's really down to the mentality of EA and how they try to replicate how Far Cry 3, which was the first game to really do skill tree properly, did it. And it really adapted to the storyline. It would tell you how to use the skill tree and acquire new tattoos, and it would really contribute to the story. Now, let's look at another game that does skill trees very, very well. I'm talking about Skyrim. The way Skyrim does skill trees is it contributes to your character. So when you escape from the dragon in the first, well, let's say mission, if you want to call it that, and you come across the 3 stones, well, there's an option to do warrior, mage, or, well, the third one I can't remember, because, well, I picked mage. And the good thing that Skyrim did with the skill tree was it contributed to your build as a character. So as someone who does a mage build, I decided to go down the destruction path, and all these conjurer type abilities are more based around using spells than actual combat. So say for example I'd level up my 2-hand ability, so I'd be able to use a sword in the right hand and a spell in the right hand. That's a typical good example of me playing Skyrim as a mage. And let's say if I did a warrior path, I'd be able to, let's say, carry, well, dual weapons, or even just for 2-hand it'll be a shield in the left hand and a sword in the right hand. Mirror's Edge Catalyst fails to grasp that. It doesn't. There's no multiple ways to play as Faith in Mirror's Edge, and that's the failure of how they failed to, well, implement a skill tree. Now, personally, I'd say I have a problem with skill trees being in games. Personally, I find skill trees to be a fucking boring waste of time. I've been playing through Thief, which, let's just be honest, is a fucking shit game. If you really want to play a good stealth game, get Dishonored and Dishonored 2. Perfect games. And it's basically, I didn't even know it existed until, well, the second last mission, which was a meme. So yeah, well done Square Enix, you really ruined the Thief franchise right there. And let's be honest, if you like steampunk games as well, and you hate a Thief, well, play Dishonored, it's fucking great. Dishonored 2. So yeah, another good game that did skill trees very well. I'd be not sure if I'd call it a skill tree, but it was Witcher 3. Did it very well. It lapsed into the environment, which it does well. I mean, this is CD Projekt Red we're talking about when they're releasing Cyberpunk 2077. I will expect a lot from them, but I'm probably not going to get the game until the price is sort of a bit cheaper. But anyhow, I've gone on a rant for 6 minutes now. I hope you enjoyed this video on the second channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.